A very warm welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Shanakshi Chakravarti. The big story: a mob of angry protesters in Andhra Pradesh's Amalapuram town set the transport minister's house on fire on Tuesday over proposed renaming of the newly created Konaseema district as B.R. Ambedkar Konaseema district. A police vehicle and an educational institution's bus were also set on fire. Several policemen were injured by the stones thrown by the protesters. Section 144 is in place in Amalapuram. The minister and his family were moved to safety by the police.
Very, very disturbing pictures that have emerged from the Amalapuram town of Andhra Pradesh, where in fact today, following certain protests by certain groups which were in fact demanding that the newly constituted Konaseema district should not be renamed as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Konaseema district. That was the crux of the problem, and they in fact went ahead and not just pelted stones at about 20 policemen who had come to stop the protest rally that was disallowed by the police, and they in fact started pelting stones, and even the district SP was injured in that attack that happened, and subsequently there is a lathi charge, and in several areas of the city in fact there is arson and violence, and a bus belonging to an education institution was burnt, and the house of the minister, transport minister, in fact, P. Viswarup was also attacked. The background to this is that this is a reserved constituency. Amalapuram was a SC reserved constituency, and Mr. Viswarup also happens to belong to the SC community. And these groups which were protesting against the renaming of the district after Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Konaseema, they believe that the minister has not taken adequate action. Now what's happening is that the DIG, Mr. Palaraju, is out on the field and trying to ensure that things are back to normal. He has in fact assured that things are under control. About 500 policemen from the neighbouring districts of Vijayanagaram, Srikakulam and Visakhapatnam have been rushed into the Konaseema district, and they will be deployed there to ensure that there is no breakout of violence, any kind of breakout anywhere at all. Home Minister has also reacted to this, saying that very, very strict action will be taken against whoever is found in the footage indulging in this kind of an arson and violence. The Minister Viswarup and his family are safe, even though the house in fact was badly burned.
I had my colleague Uma Sudhir there with the details of that violence taking place in Andhra Pradesh. But moving on to a shocking story from the valley. A policeman was shot dead outside his Srinagar home by terrorists on Tuesday. His 7-year-old daughter, who reportedly rushed to save him, was also injured in this attack. The cop has been identified as Saifullah Qadri of Srinagar's Sura area. Qadri and his daughter were shifted to the nearby hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. The officials have also said that the child suffered a bullet injury in her right hand and is out of danger. In fact, the Jammu and Kashmir LG, the Lieutenant Governor, has tweeted, and I quote, I strongly condemn the cowardly terror attack in Sura. I assure the people that those behind this despicable act will not go unpunished. I salute the martyr policeman. His service to the nation and supreme sacrifice will always be remembered. To some more political news now. Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha visited the residence and met the family of Rahul Bhatt, an employee of the Chadura Tehsil office who was shot dead by terrorists on the 12th of May in his office. And to news coming in from the Quad Summit. Quad leaders denounce use of terrorist proxies and bat for bolstering cooperation among Quad countries by announcing new steps to solidify the alliance between India, US, Japan and Australia in a clear bid to counter China in the Indo-Pacific.
With the threat of China weighing heavily on their minds, the leaders of India, the US, Japan and Australia, the Quad, met in Tokyo today. With the BJP trumpeting this photograph as proof that India was leading the world. The Quad announced new steps to solidify their alliance. That included a new maritime collaboration to counter illegal fishing by Chinese vessels. The joint statement, which also talks of cooperation on climate change, cybersecurity, infrastructure, says, "The Quad is a force for good. We strongly support the principles of freedom, rule of law, democratic values, sovereignty and territorial integrity." And without naming China and Taiwan, the statement goes on to say, "We discussed our respective responses to the conflict in Ukraine and assessed its implication for the Indo-Pacific." Quad leaders reiterated our strong resolve to maintain peace and stability in the region.
क्वाड इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र के लिए एक कंस्ट्रक्टिव एजेंडा लेकर चल रहा है। इससे क्वाड की छवि एक फोर्स फॉर गुड के रूप में और भी सुदृढ़ होती जाएगी।
Prime Minister Modi, it's wonderful to see you again in person. Thank you for your continuing commitment to making sure democracies deliver. Because that's what this is about, democracies versus autocracies, and we have to make sure we deliver.
हमने एक और सकारात्मक
Shortly afterwards, the Prime Minister and President Biden held a bilateral meeting where any differences over Russia seemed to be a thing of the past, at least publicly.
भारत और अमेरिका की स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप सही मायने में एक पार्टनरशिप ऑफ ट्रस्ट है।
I'm committed to making U.S.-India partnership among the closest we have on earth.
China has been dismissive of Quad, saying it is doomed to fail. But the threat from Beijing has brought these countries together within a short span of time, and now they have expanded their cooperation. Even the unease on India's position on Russia within Quad appears to have gone away with the greater understanding of New Delhi's position. In Tokyo, Akshay Dongre for NDTV.
And in fact, staying with news from the Quad summit, as Quad leaders met in Tokyo on Tuesday, Chinese and Russian fighter jets carried out joint flying exercises nearby. Japan's defense minister said his government had expressed grave concerns to Russia and China over the flights, which took place while leaders from the United States, India, Australia and Japan held talks on regional security. The planes did not breach territorial airspace, but it is the fourth time since November that long-distance flights, joint flights by Russia and China have been spotted near Japan. The timing is not seen as coincidence. The Quad is primarily aimed at countering China's dominance in the region, and Quad leaders have made some very strong statements on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And in fact, listen in to what the Commander-in-Chief of the Russian Aerospace Forces has to say on this.
В соответствии с планом военного сотрудничества на 2022 год, сегодня Воздушно-космические силы России и Военно-воздушные силы Народно-освободительной армии Китая провели совместное воздушное патрулирование в Азиатско-Тихоокеанском регионе. Авиагруппа в составе российских стратегических ракетоносцев Ту-95МС и китайских стратегических бомбардировщиков Хун-6К выполнили воздушное патрулирование над акваториями Японского и Восточно-Китайского морей.
Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has alleged that there is a systematic attack on the institutions that allow India to speak, and as the conversation is being stamped out, the deep state is entering those spaces and redefining the way that conversation is happening in the country. This is what he said on Monday in Cambridge during an event entitled India at 75 at the prestigious Cambridge University. Mr. Gandhi spoke on a broad range of subjects from Hindu nationalism, the Gandhi family's role within the Congress party, and efforts to mobilize the people of the country as he fielded questions from a largely Indian student base. Listen in.
What I see is going on is a systematic attack on the institutions that allow India to speak. Right? Parliament, the election system, the democratic system, the basic structure of democracy is being captured by one organization. And as the conversation is being stamped out, the deep state is entering those spaces and redefining the way that conversation is held.
Shifting focus to the big story from Punjab. Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann on Tuesday sacked his Health Minister Vijay Singla from the cabinet on a corruption charge, reportedly after solid evidence was found against him. Mr. Singla was allegedly demanding a 1% commission on tenders. Soon after his removal, he was arrested by the anti-corruption branch of the Punjab Police. The opposition has called it eyewash. Meanwhile, Vijay Singla has been dropped from the Punjab cabinet as well. Take a look. Just 2 months after forming the government, Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann has sacked his Health Minister over corruption charges, sending a strong signal of no tolerance over corruption. Vijay Singla was quickly arrested and brought to the police station in Mohali.
मैं अपनी आम आदमी पार्टी की ईमानदार सरकार दे एक भ्रिष्टाचारी मंत्री नूं बर्खास्त भी कर रहे हैं ते उहदे खिलाफ पुलिस नूं केस दर्ज करन दे निर्देश भी दे रहे हैं। कई विरोधी पार्टियां कहणगियां देखो जी 2 महीने दे विच ही इन्हां दा एक मंत्री जिहड़ा है ਉਹ करप्शन दे विच आ गया ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ कार्रवाई भी ਤਾਂ मैं ही कर रहा ਹਾਂ।
करप्शन ਦੇ ਇਲਜ਼ਾਮ ਲੱਗੇ ਨੇ, ਸਾਜ਼ਿਸ਼ ਹੈ, ਬਦਨਾਮ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਹੈ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਸਰਕਾਰ।
Singla was allegedly taking 1% commission on all tenders floated by the Health and Family Welfare Department. Singla's removal came as a surprise to many, with no hint of any impending action against the minister. However, according to government sources, the complaint against Singla came to the Chief Minister's office nearly 10 days ago from a government officer. A sting operation was subsequently launched by the government. Singla demanded 1% commission from contracts. The Aam Aadmi Party convener and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal praised Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann for his action and recalled how he too had sacked one of his ministers in 2015.
भगवंत, हमें आपके ऊपर गर्व है। कई लोगों की आंखों में खुशी के आंसू हैं।
While the opposition, Congress, welcomed the decision, the BJP took a dig at Kejriwal.
6 अप्रैल 2022 जो भ्रष्टाचार आपने खत्म कर दिया था 20 दिन में, आप ये स्वीकार रहे हैं कि उसको पुनर्जन्म आपने ही कराया।
Apart from the health minister, his OSD has also been booked in the case. While corruption is invariably a campaign issue, the Aam Aadmi Party's sacking of its own minister will take that to a new level in the upcoming Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh polls. With Mohammad Ghazali in Punjab, NDTV Bureau Report. To news from the national capital, the Archeological Survey of India on Tuesday opposed a plea before a Delhi court seeking restoration of a Hindu and Jain deities inside the Qutub Minar complex, saying it is not a place of worship and the existing status of the monument cannot be altered. In fact, the Archeological Survey of India has also said that the fundamental right of the applicant cannot be availed in violation of the existing status of the land. Taking note of the ASI submission that the Qutub Minar is not a place of worship and that the existing status of the monument cannot be altered, an additional district judge reserved its order on the plea for the 9th of June. To shifting focus on the Gyanvapi case, the hearing will start in Varanasi court on the 26th of May. The mosque committee plea against the survey will be heard first. Both sides have been asked to file objections to survey report. The Varanasi court hearing of the Gyanvapi case comes after the Supreme Court direction. The Survey Commission report claimed that a shivling was found in the pool.
Was a court-ordered filming inside this mosque, Varanasi's Gyanvapi Mosque, located next to the famous Kashi Vishwanath temple, legal? In 48 hours from now, Varanasi's senior-most judge will start hearing a petition by the mosque committee that states that the filming was a violation of the 1991 Places of Worship Act that prohibits the change in character of any religious place of worship. In orders passed on Friday, the Supreme Court had asked the Varanasi court to decide this issue on priority. Something Varanasi's district judge said today in a single-page order he would do. Last week, lawyers representing the petitioners had claimed a shivling was found during the filming of the Gyanvapi mosque complex, as per a report by a court-appointed commissioner leaked to the media.
जो कमीशन की रिपोर्ट आई है उस पे भी वो अपना ऑब्जेक्शन एक हफ्ते के अंदर फाइल करना दोनों पक्षों.
The shivling claim has been disputed by the mosque committee that says it is a water fountain, part of a pond that worshippers use for washing rituals before prayers.
It is a secret document.
Yes.
It is not a public document. It must not reach to any other person. I will seek the permission from the Honorable Court to provide me the certified copies of the video chips and photograph. But I don't know in what way they are taking the survey report as a magna carta of this case. Survey report is nothing. It is not an evidence at all.
With much complexity involved in the claims and counterclaims over the Gyanvapi issue, many are expecting the court hearing in Varanasi to be a long-winded one, stretching to at least a few weeks. In Varanasi with Ajay Singh and camera person Vineet Kumar, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.